All right, today we're doing section 1.2, grouping symbols. Our objective is to simplify expressions with and without grouping symbols. We've already done a little bit of this, so hopefully this is mostly review. Ooh, sorry about that. All right, these go in your notes. A grouping symbol is a device such as a pair of parentheses, a pair of parentheses, used to enclose an expression that should be simplified first. Multiplication symbols are often left out of expressions with grouping symbols. All right, we've got grouping symbols here, parentheses, brackets, and fraction bars. So when we see parentheses, these are the ones you're probably most familiar with. 6 parentheses, 5 minus 3 would be an example of that. We're grouping 5 minus 3 together. Brackets are used pretty much the same way as parentheses. I'm sure you've also seen those at some point. It means the same thing. Fraction bars are a little bit different. With a fraction bar, we group the top together and we group the bottom together. So it makes two different groups. If an expression contains more than one grouping symbol, first simplify First simplify the expression in the innermost grouping symbol. Then work toward the outermost grouping symbol. Until the expression is in simplest form. All right, let's simplify them. We deal with parentheses first. In our parentheses, we have 8 plus 3 grouped together. What is 8 plus 3? 11. So we have 5. Remember, we'll leave the 11 in parentheses to remind ourselves we've got multiplication. 5 times 11 is 55. Very good. On number 2, we only have parentheses around the 8, right? So there's nothing to simplify inside the parentheses. So what operation do we do first, Keon? Multiplication. So we multiply the 5 and 8 first to get 40. Good. Then we add the 3 to get a total of 43. Very good. So number 3 at the bottom asks, do these have the same solution? I hope it's obvious that they do not. No. Why or why not? So why don't they have the same solution? We did have 2 different numbers, so that's how we knew they weren't the same solution. But looking at the problems, they have the same numbers involved. What was different that caused them to have different solutions? Very good. Where the parentheses are. So you could say parentheses moved, the parentheses placement. Okay, or where they ended changed. Something about those parentheses. That's what made the difference. All right, number 4, we've got that fraction bar. Remember, the fraction bar groups the numerator together and groups the denominator together. So if you want to, when you see that, you can put parentheses around the top and the bottom to remember that those are 2 different groups. So you can work on each group at the same time. So I'll go ahead and drop my fraction bar down. What can my top group be replaced with? A 16. 10 plus 6 would give me 16. What about my bottom group? 8. 10 minus 2 is 8. Then, fraction bars do double duty. They are grouping symbols. They are also division signs. 16 divided by 8 is 2. Very good. All right, number 5. We have 2 different types of grouping symbols. We've got the brackets on the outer part. We have the parentheses on the inside. Remember that rule told us that we're going to start with the innermost, which would be the parentheses, and we'll work out towards the brackets. So we start on the inside and do the 8 minus 3. Everything else is just going to come down for now. What are we going to replace the 8 minus 3 with? A 5. And then we'll keep the ending bracket on the back. All right, we still have a grouping symbol. We've got the brackets, so we want to do brackets first. 10 divided by 5. Very good. The front part stays the same. 10 minus 2 is 8. Beautiful. When there are no grouping symbols, simplify in this order. Do all multiplication and division in order from left to right. And then after that, do all addition and subtraction. In order from left to right. All right, on example 6, we have no grouping symbols. So we have to scan through the problem and first look for multiplication and division. So we start on the left, scanning, scanning, scanning. Oop! We found a multiplication sign. So that's what should be done first. When you see a problem like this, don't get excited and just start working from left to right all willy-nilly. You have to look for the multiplication and division first. So 18 times 2 gets replaced with 16. Everything else around that stays the same. And then I rescan. Addition, addition, division. We should do the division next. So we are going to do the 16 divided by 4. Everything else in front of that stays the same. 16 divided by 4 is 4. Very good. The rest of it now is all addition. So it doesn't matter entirely what order you do it in if it's all addition. But we'll just go left to right. 3 plus 5 plus 4. Beautiful. If you were to skip the 8 plus 4 line and go straight to 12, because it's all addition, I'd be okay with that. Number 7 is a little quicker. Again, we scan through. We look for multiplication and division first. Do we have any? Yes, we first need to multiply the 15 times 4. What do we get? Very good. So we have 29 plus 60. Then that's our last step. 29 plus 60 would give us 89. Wonderful. No grouping symbols. We look for multiplication and division first. I see some multiplication here. I copy down the rest of the problem the same. And I replace 12 times 2 with a 24. Alright, next we scan through again and we see we've got some division on the end. Everything in front of that stays the same. 24 divided by 8 is 3. This time the whole left to right part is important. Okay. We have to go from left to right. We've got some subtraction, some addition. What needs to be done first?
Addition.
Subtraction from left to right. We come across the subtraction first. So that's what has to get done first. Okay, I know when we say the order of operations, we say addition, subtraction. That does not mean addition always comes first. This is where a lot of people get a little messed up. Okay, you would get a different answer if you did the addition first. 19 minus 7 is 12. Then we still have to add the 3 and we get
15.
Beautiful. Again, 9 is really quick compared to 8. So first thing we do is the division. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 3 plus 4 is 7. Wonderful. Alright, on these we first have to substitute and then simplify. Remember, those are always our steps when we see the word evaluate. Substitute and simplify. We need to remember to use parentheses or some sort of multiplication symbol when we substitute on this one. So we end up with 4 times 4 when we put in the A, minus 2 times 7 when we put in the B. Alright, working from left to right, I see some multiplication in the beginning. 4 times 4 is 16, minus 2 times 7. What happens next? The 2 times 7 has to happen next. 16 minus 14 is? Very good. On 11, we also substitute. 3 times 4. All of that is being divided by, we got to plug in the C minus the A. So 10 minus 4. Start working it out sideways so I have enough room. Remember that fraction bar, the first job it has is to work as a grouping symbol. It groups the top separate from the bottom. So let's work in our top group. 3 times 4. Wonderful. Keep the fraction bar. Our bottom group is 10 minus 4. Wonderful. Now that the fraction bar is done grouping things, it's going to work like a division sign. 12 divided by 6. Beautiful. Alright, that is it for section 1.2 notes.